Today's story is Across the Stream. Croaky the little green frog sat staring across the stream. His home was on one side of the stream, but the best area to play was on the other side of the stream. Usually, if he and his friends wanted to get across, they had to go all the way down the stream to the bridge at the far end of their village. It was a long, hot walk and very tiresome. "If only I could get across right here," he croaked sadly. Croaky had an idea. He looked at the big green lily pad that he found in the spring. He loved this lily pad, as it was the biggest one he'd ever seen. He could comfortably sit on it with room to spare. "Maybe I could surf across the stream on my lily pad," he thought excitedly. Croaky put his lily pad in the water. He took a big run up and jumped. The lily pad skittered across the stream. "I'm going to make it!" Croaky yelled. But as he neared the centre of the stream, his lily pad began to slow down. As it slowed, Croaky began to wobble. Then, splash! He fell into the water. Now, of course frogs love getting wet, but Croaky knew that his mum would not be happy that his new shorts were soaking. He had to think of a better way to get across. Further down the stream, Hoppity Rabbit was gazing across the stream to her favourite play area. It was the same area her friend Croaky liked to play in. "If only I could get over there," she sighed sadly. Hoppity had an idea. She looked down at the large rock at her feet. She was a strong bunny and thought if she could throw the rock into the centre of the stream, perhaps she could leap from the bank to the rock and over to the other side. She heaved the rock and it landed in the middle of the water with a big splash. Hoppity took a run up and leapt through the air and landed on the rock. "I'm going to make it!" she laughed. She gathered all her strength and got ready to leap to the other side. She leapt high into the air. Then, splash! She fell into the stream. Bunnies don't like getting wet, and Hoppity screamed with anger. She paddled back to her rock and pushed it back over to her side of the bank. She had to think of a better way to get across. Further down the stream, Digger the mole was gazing across the water. He also liked to play in the lush grass on the other side of the stream with his friends Hoppity and Croaky. He too hated walking all the way down to the bridge on the far side of the village. "If only I could cross right here," he muttered. Digger had an idea. He turned and saw a long plank of wood behind him. "If only this plank of wood could reach across the stream, I could build a bridge right here." Digger picked up the plank of wood and stretched it out over the water. He could tell it was not going to make it across. As Digger held the long plank, he began to wobble until, splash! He fell head first into the stream. He had to think of a better way to get across. Digger saw his friends walking towards him in the distance. Both of them were sopping wet, just like he was. "What's the matter, Digger?" Hoppity asked. "I want to get across the stream without walking all the way around," he said crossly. "But my plank isn't long enough." "That's what I want to do, but my lily pad won't surf far enough," moaned Croaky. "And my rock won't get me across either," sighed Hoppity. Suddenly, Croaky looked up with a bright smile on his face. What if we tried all our ideas? All our ideas? Hoppity and Digger asked. Yes, let's put all our ideas together and work as a team, Croaky said as he jumped up and down. Hoppity and Digger smiled. Would their plan work? Hoppity threw her rock into the middle of the stream. Then Digger reached his plank out and rested one end on the bank they were standing on and one end on the rock. Croaky held his lily pad tightly in his hands. One by one, the three friends walked carefully across the plank to the rock. Once they made it to the rock, Croaky put his big lily pad in the water. Ready? 1, 2, 3, Croaky yelled. The three friends jumped and landed on the lily pad. The lily pad skittered across the stream with Hoppity, Croaky and Digger on board. The lily pad skidded up the banks of the stream on the other side. We made it! Digger, Hoppity and Croaky cheered. It's much easier when we work as a team, Croaky grinned, and our mums won't be cross about our wet clothes anymore. The three friends giggled as they ran off to the lush meadow to play. The lesson we learnt today is that things are easier when we work as a team. We hope you enjoyed this Schooling Online production. Check out the rest of the stories in our Life Stage series to help your child cope with developmental changes.